Samla. Welcome back to Tom Plays Europa Universalis 4 for absolute beginners. We're back with the Ottomans, and we just finally taken Constantinople. So we have a ton of things to deal with. We have an uprising over here from the previous conquest, Kandar, and a whole bunch of these. So let's just start the clock. So that will be the first thing that needs to be dealt with. I see our allies have their own issue over here. Reasonably confident about this battle. We have the fort that they still haven't taken, we have a better general, we have the numbers, and it all seems to be going well. Which is good, because we have plenty of other things to worry about. You can see that we built some ships as well, which is good. Some galleys. Right, that's been one. I'm just going to send the galleys across to have them all in one place. And then we really need to deal with what's going on over here. Right, excellent. First of all, we need to make all these provinces cores. Worth keeping an eye out for this, actually. I don't think we need to make Constantinople a core. Because once we finish the missions, City of the World's Desire, we actually also finish this mission, Conquer Greece. Gained a new conquest, Casus Belli, which we're not going to be using anytime soon, I suspect. Have we won another one? Ah, expand Ottomans. Brilliant. Okay, but there's a decision here, a new one, to make Constantinople the capital. And I believe this automatically makes it a core. Yes, you can see the coring thing message disappeared. So it's well worth doing that, because to make Constantinople a core would have cost quite a lot of administrative points. So we've just saved ourselves a whole bunch by doing that. Speaking of saving a bunch, I would like to mothball all my forts now that the insurrection is finished. And what else? Corruption. Corruption is growing, so we need to just move this slider across. Yep. Thankfully we're still making money. We've suffered casualties, but that will deal with itself. Okay. Alright, Bozok. In effect, we've just been handed a nice event for Bozok. I think under the circumstances, in the early game, taxation tends to be your main source of income. So I think I'm going to go with taxation. For that one, we've also gained a technology, a military technology, which is brilliant. And this time, this is the first technology we've had where we change our unit type. So we can do that, but it's something to be careful of if you're in a war, certainly if you're about to enter a battle, because you keep an eye on the morale, the little green bar to the right. As we change this, it goes right down and starts recovering. So while it does need doing to make our units better to reflect the new technology, you don't necessarily want to do it as you're about to enter a battle. Okay. Excellent. So the units will gradually replace themselves. This is going to take a while and cost us some money. We've got provincial unrest all over the place, thanks to conquering everything. We have truces. Oh, we can build improvements. And some uncontested claims. Now, in theory, I think some more advanced players would probably argue that we should hold our horses in accepting the missions complete, because sometimes they give you temporary claims. I consider that a fairly advanced tactic, so I haven't really been doing it here. So it's possible these will expire because they're for the Europeans, and having just attacked Europe, I don't really want to attack them again anytime soon. I'm just going to select all the navy so that we can make it into a single navy. So we've now got a few more military ships. If you remember, we made those because we temporarily had a bonus from an event which allowed us to build ships sooner. And right, so what else is there? We do need to spend some time building up our armies again, ideally, but we also need to prepare for the next conquest because we are the Ottomans. And we should also be working towards this mission here, so we do want to make sure we have at least 5 mosques. Now, at the moment, you can see where the mosques are because they're highlighted in blue when we select to make a mosque. Not sure if I did that too quickly there. Just select the option, select mosque, which is in taxation. So I believe we've only built one in Edirne so far. Now, because we've moved our capital to Constantinople, that's a very good place to build a mosque. It's going to give us 0.43 extra ducats every month, so we should definitely build one there. Where else is good? Selanik is... oh, hang on. Tehela. In fact, it does actually show you here the best places to build them. So, Tehela, Nikolalu, and Selanik are 15 each. There we go. Now, we can't build any more, but we have 1, and we're on line to build 4 more. So, as well as making us much richer, that will also be enough to fulfill that mission. Okay. Genoa. That's interesting. Genoa are a trading nation, much like Venice, whom we currently hate. And they have some territories up here, and they want exclusive trading privileges through the Bosphorus, which is here. Interesting. We can gain claims on Kafr and Azov, but we're not really ready to attack them yet. And I imagine the claims will disappear just as these will. So it might be an opportunity. It's not much, but I actually think the advantage here, small though it is probably better. Let's go with that. Okay, brilliant. One of the things I do like about EU4 is you can learn a certain amount of history and geography. So one thing that was in the news relatively recently is that President Erdogan is planning to build a second canal, I suppose, a second access point into the Black Sea in Istanbul, which is modern-day Constantinople. So in effect, the Bosphorus at the moment is the only channel in and out, and the amount of trade we have in modern times is so much that they've had ships colliding. So his plan is to build a second one. I imagine perhaps the idea is to have ships going one way through one and the other way through another. There's been opposition from, I believe, the mayor of Istanbul, and personally I'm too far away to say whether it's a good idea or not, but it's interesting that in the news when I saw this I was able to follow it. I knew where the Bosphorus was, I knew what it did, and that was largely thanks to this game. So anyway, just a little tidbit there. I don't know how that's going to turn out. because some people in Istanbul will be affected by it. They'll be effectively put onto what counts now as an island, so they're not very keen. But I imagine anyone who's lost ships to collisions probably would be. But I don't feel qualified from a quarter of a world away to honestly say if it's a good idea or not. But it is nice to understand what is actually going on, to some extent, through having a better understanding of Turkish geography. But there you go. Okay, so we still, as a result of fulfilling the mission that gave us a claim on Kandar, we still have a claim on Karaman, who appear to have taken some extra land of their own. So okay, we only have claims on their original provinces. And we actually have a very good opportunity to attack them because their only ally is not going to come to their aid. We should do it. We should absolutely do it. Sorry about the abrupt attack there. So I'd imagine some people would tell you that you shouldn't attack people with no manpower, ideally, and we have a lot of manpower still to build up. I just feel that Karaman is a sufficiently weak nation. I suspect they've been in a war themselves recently, and their only assistance, Crimea, up here, their only ally, isn't willing to help them, possibly because they just helped them already in a war. So while we have no help ourselves, apart from our vassal, who I'm afraid are currently being defeated, I think we can reasonably take them. And it just seems like too good an opportunity to miss while they have no allies. None of our allies were willing to join in either, but I don't think we need any, even in our reduced state of manpower. Additionally, looking at their fleet, I think we can probably take their fleet as well. Let's just move ours into position. And we'll give it a go. Okay, they have a smaller army than mine, also with a 1-star general. I'm just wondering if I should use this army to take out their army, so I can keep this army on their capital. We'll see. I'll see how I feel when the armies get a bit closer. Now, in other news, at some point we need to start moving up here towards the Greek Orthodox, not Greek Orthodox, sorry, Eastern Orthodox countries. Trebizond is definitely our first port of call, and we may actually get stopped there because our ally has already taken some. Interesting, but let's worry about that when we come to it. At the moment, Trebizond is the main ones standing in our way. Interesting. It might be possible to vassalize them. I'm not that confident. Oh, interesting. No, I see. They've got Kayonlu as enemies, as allies in Georgia. I think we might need to build a spy network. And at the same time, if there's a chance that these guys are going to join in on their side, it might be useful having some claims on them, which we currently don't have. So, okay. Although we could make allies out of them as well. I wonder if it'd be worth having these people as allies. Might want to think about that for a bit. Okay, let's head over here if we're very lucky. we may be able to engage them at a place where we have a castle, which would give us a final advantage. Actually, on second thought, seeing as we're so close, I might move this army here to take over sieging Caraman's capital, and then I can free up my best army to try to attack their army. It would actually be better. So I mustn't move this army until I'm certain this one's in place. Looks like this is Ramazan again. They're still trying to help us, bless them, with their grossly underpowered army. Oh, walls breached. Good work. You're doing great work there, but let's just let these people take over for now. I probably don't need any advantages to take this army down. I think on the whole, I don't want to have diplomats sitting idle. I am going to start building a spy network. So assume for the time being that we're going to end up fighting Kayonlu. Okay, looks like I'm going to attack their small army first, which is fine, I'll take that. It's possible these guys are just going to disappear. They'll try to circle round. I suppose we will find out. Oh, this is handy. Because we have a fort here, this land that they've taken is automatically being taken back by the fort. There we go. Which is nice, I don't have to send an army over. So I'm going to move into this province, possibly to take it. Also to see if I can spot their army trying to circle round or anything. But they may literally just be running out of the way to prevent us from defeating them, which isn't unreasonable, because we almost certainly would defeat them at this point. Oh no, there they are. Happily making a break for it. You see, to me, that looks potentially risky because they have a fort. Oh, this is much better. Okay, so if you start taking this... Actually, what am I thinking? Now let's send both our armies in. So Ramazan's holding them up very bravely. And hopefully that's long enough for us to attack them. So because Ramazan has a fort here, I think, we hopefully get the advantage of that because we're on the same side. And we basically destroyed Karaman's army. That is brilliant. So I'm just going to start taking these lands. So I believe the lands we have claims on are these 5. And we do need to take them if possible. Military reforms. This is interesting. I'm half tempted to just go for the army one because the vast majority of what we're doing is going to be the army. Although the galley combat ability would be nice as well. On the whole though, we're not going to do much with our navy. Let's just go for army. Not historically what happened, but if we do manage to build a decent navy, then we'll probably be able to win on its own merits, and also it'll probably be after the time that bonus runs out. And also, we don't really need the navy. Most of the places we're attacking are landlocked, whereas we'll stand or fall by the power of our armies, so it does make sense to focus on the army. still currently have a diplomat I'm not using. But I suppose I might need them to end the war. If I just do improve relations over here. I'm not sure how much more we need to do, we've probably already done it. Although their relations didn't look that high to me. Oh yeah, we can do a lot of improving, excellent. So we'll just pull them out as and when we need to. We also have a new technology. Excellent, so this is the coring provinces, showing that we're gaining the provinces that we'd chosen to core. I'm actually questioning now. Oh, it's this province, the one we took from Wallachia earlier on. Excellent. Ooh, fascinating. Okay, sorry. Right, national ideas. These are quite important. So it's a technology level, but it's also permitted us our first national idea. Just before doing that, we've also got this little flag. Making states. You should always do this when you can. It reduces corruption. This state includes the whole of Wallachia. And usually you need to recore it, which we don't currently have the admin power to do because we just... Never mind. Right, so we've got another one that's finished being cored. Konya. Which is interesting. Can't immediately see Konya. We got... Ah, brilliant. So in effect we've got some students coming back from Damascus and Cairo, and they want to implement legalistic Islam, which is most certainly what we want to do. Additionally, it gives us administrative power, which is far more valuable than legitimacy, especially as our legitimacy is already 100, so we wouldn't gain anything. So even if we were heading for mysticism intentionally, we would still want to pick this one. As it is, we're heading for legalism. Excellent. We've got a bunch of new Islamic scholars. This land has been taken, so I'm going to move next door. I think Ramazan actually just managed to beat what was left of the Karaman army by themselves, which is brilliant. That's why it's great to have vassals. And right, so national ideas. Just while this is going on, and this army's happily sneaking out to try and wreak havoc, annoyingly. This is quite important. When you reach a certain tech level, I think it's administrative level 5 that we've now reached, you get the first of 8 potential national ideas. These are basically choices you can make. Choices as to which areas to pursue, which areas to concentrate on, and they all give you unique bonuses. Some are way better than others. There's a whole bunch of guides on YouTube and the internet in general as to which ones to pick. Now, with a lot of nations, you often start with diplomatic simply because administrative points are very important. Military technology especially is very important, and gaining these ideas takes the same monarch points that we use for technology. You must never fall behind in military technology. So even if you choose a military idea, which we really must do, you mustn't necessarily put points into them until you're certain you're sufficiently ahead or at least on par on military technology. However, as the Ottomans, because we're going to be doing an awful lot of expanding, we actually want administrative ideas specifically for this idea. It's the second idea you get. You'll get an idea of how this works as we go along, but it helps us make cores for less administrative points. So we're going to select administrative ideas. It's a good strong idea group in itself, but it's mostly this second one that we need. So we may stop putting points into it once we've got this idea. But as it stands, this will pay for itself. We're going to be coring so much land that as soon as we get this idea, it will start saving us administrative points. Quite a lot. So we must get that. Ideally as soon as we can, but you also don't want to leave provinces uncored for too long, because it doesn't help with corruption and things like that. Okay, so Genoa has embraced the Renaissance. Lucky sods. We control Arcasy. We've unlocked the administrative ideas group. Right, so these guys, let's just move them into Karaman so we can fight this army. Don't you see this little... Yes, fine. That's great. There was a little padlock there for a second, which showed they were committed to moving into this province. Which is why I moved here instead of there. So hopefully we're going to catch them. A cross swords indicates that there's going to be a battle, so brilliant. Always worth stamping out their army if you can. It aids with a military score. Okay, and we're now going to move to Divrigi. I don't think we're actually going to need to go there. In fact, we're probably better off, come to think of it, just helping with the siege, because that's got a way to go, and it looks like Ramazan, our vassal, is doing a good job over here of mopping up the army. Okay, brilliant. So I'm still going to choose make call there, even though we really do want our admin points for the administrative ideas group. Little torn, because we're probably going to end up needing to make all of these calls, which will hold us up on getting the administrative ideas, but at the same time, don't want to leave 5 uncored provinces for too long, so we may have to do it anyway. Karaman is offering us peace. I'm going to ignore that, because we should be able to get to at least 99% war score, at which point we'll get a much better deal, and there's really nothing they can do to stop us. So it probably is a better idea. Yeah, so the Renaissance is slowly spreading. There was a message just there that Genoa had embraced it. It will be spreading across our country. You can see it spread, but really I'm just happy to ignore it still. It's just worth us accumulating money if we can, because that will allow us to embrace it sooner. It will spread naturally across the country. You can see it if you're curious and if you want to look into it on the technology screen. This is institution here. We've currently got an extra cost of 5%. We've got a much higher cost from being ahead in 2 of our technologies, which is also something I use when choosing national ideas. I often go for whichever area I'm most ahead in. So in this case I probably would have gone for administrative or military anyway rather than diplomatic. But possibly not, because diplomatic points aren't that much use if you're not really a seafaring nation. So it's sometimes worth going for them anyway, because you will get a bonus if you're behind on technology compared to your neighbours. It's relatively safe to be behind on technology compared in administrative and diplomatic. Definitely not safe to be behind on military. So I don't even think about that, but if you invest in ideas a lot, you will often then get the technology cheaper later. So overall, you can gain an advantage. However, if you go to institutions, as well as telling you what the institution is, telling you how much it will cost to embrace it, and giving you that option, also telling you what bonuses you'll get when you embrace it, it also shows it spreading across the world. So you can see we don't actually have it in every provinces yet. This is showing us that it's part way to being embraced. There are ways to speed this up, but it's not something I want to go into. We're just going to let it happen naturally as the Ottomans, because as you can see, if I zoom out a bit, we're already doing better than some countries. Albania is declaring war on Ragasa, which we originally were guaranteeing. But we didn't. We stopped. So it shows that it started here in Roma, which I believe is the capital of the Papal State, and it's been spreading out from there. It pretty much always starts in Italy. So a lot of the developed countries already have it, Venice is also declaring war on Ragusa. They have a new Serbia, everyone's attacking them. So generally, if you're playing as one of the more developed countries, which includes the Ottomans, you don't really need to worry that much about the institutions. They will spread themselves, as a rule. But you can see it spread. And later on, when we play the less developed countries, we'll have to start dealing with that and worrying about it. Okay, so the war's going pretty well. 85% war score. We're just waiting for this last castle to fall. Vast and endless sea. Oh, it looks like we're actually doing surprisingly well navally, which is amazing. Well, at least we did try to build some ships, so we've gained some sailors. Much rather gain soldiers at the moment, but it's nice to have them. Maybe we should think about building some more ships once we can. Caramel wants a peace offer again. I'm still going to ignore that. I feel a bit mean. So other things to think about, apart from us wanting to think about conquering Trebizond, we also should think about Cyprus. It would be really good if we could vassalise them. We've finished coring a few provinces. We've got the option to make a state again, which we should do. Unfortunately, it's then going to want even more admin points from us. At this stage, I think I'm just going to go along with it and just accept that it may take us a while before we can get the administrative idea that allows this to take less money. But it's fine. Not money, administrative power. It's absolutely fine. What else? We could build a province improvement again. I'm a little conscious that we might want to start gaining money again, though, unless there's anywhere amazing to put a mosque. Philiba. Really? That's plus 13? No, fair enough. For some reason I thought I'd seen a plus 60. Yeah, it's honestly not that enticing. I think we might be better off saving our money for now. It might be a mistake actually, because the earlier you can build a mosque, the more valuable it is to the game as a whole. In fact, it probably is. It's alright, let's build another mosque in Philiba. Might also consider Marketplace at some point, but if we ever get to the next technology level, we can start building workshops. That may take a while though, what with wanting to at least get 2 administrative ideas. Oh, we can fabricate a claim on Trebizond. Excellent. In which case we no longer need a spy, because they only have 1 province anyway. So we can fabricate a claim. It's worth checking here how many options you get. We're clearly only able to fabricate a claim on this 1 province. So I may stop the spy network building there as well. So I would like to check Cyprus out as a possible vassal. Distance between borders is going to go down. We can't have a royal marriage. I might just improve relations and see how it looks once we've conquered this country. Who else? Abkhazia, the Imereti. They would actually accept vassalization at this stage. How about Georgia? Georgia's a no. However, the Imereti do have a fairly negative opinion of us. Part of that's the aggressive expansion, to be fair. Ah, brilliant. We've won the siege. Right, so we've now actually got 100% war score. So if you sue for peace, suggest demands, you can see we're getting all the provinces we actually want. All 5 of them. They're also going to pay us some money. So I'm going to go for that. Possibly our aggressive expansion, a thing which determines how alarmed countries are getting at our encroaching territory snatching, is probably going through the roof right now. So we definitely need to calm down in a lot of areas. But we've taken what would have been Karaman. This area here was originally Divergi, I think, which might have been an option to vassalise, but Karaman has taken that away from us, so we may have to deal with them with conquest. Yes, we've lost our reason to attack them because we've taken every province that we recently had. We have fulfilled Consolidate Asia Minor as a mission. We have a bunch of new claims, which actually I think includes these lands now as well. Some of them at least. We may even have new claims on Akkayonlu. Excellent, but we're certainly not going to attack them anytime soon, although we might think about attacking Trebizond, in which case we may end up taking some of this land anyway. New national decision, provincial government system. Ooh, that does actually look useful. Okay, more administrative power. And we also have a whole bunch of calls we need to make, which is a little upsetting. Never mind. Seeing as we're probably not going to get workshops for a while, I might just build a few more mosques. So I think we're looking at anywhere that gives us plus 0.12. Yeah, that's fine. We've gained diplomatic technology, so we're now ahead in every single area. So it didn't particularly matter which group we went for. Of course it hasn't mattered yet anyway, because we haven't actually spent any administrative points getting a group. It's a base of 400. Unlike the technology, it doesn't really change as a rule. But yeah, there is, I was going to say, the little issue you do have is that when you have an administrative national idea, of course, while you're spending administrative points on this, you're not pushing up your technology. And if you notice, we get an other national idea group once we hit administrative tech level 7. So it might be worth our while to stop once we get here and try to build our technology up, because then we can get probably a diplomatic technology will be next. The Ottomans tend to have quite a strong military even without any military idea groups. But we'll see, it may be worth doing a military one, because we are mostly about conquest. So likely the next move will be Trebizond, but I will be leaving that for next week. One final thing, let's just muff all forts so we don't forget. So unlike the start of this week, we don't have a huge amount of fallout to deal with, except that our army once again has tons of casualties, which we may end up not to giving them time to build up, because we may want to be conquering even more land. And we have a whole bunch of provinces which need coring. In fact, I might just start with them. I'm also hoping we might be able to look at vassalising Cyprus, but we'll see. We shall see. Once we've got cores down here, it might be more likely. But that's it for this week. Sorry it wasn't tremendously exciting, but we have consolidated Asia Minor, which is brilliant. So we've made progress. The Europeans are hopefully calming down as we have turned our attention to the Muslim world. Akkayonlu is taking advantage of us having weakened Karaman to attack the remaining provinces. So I suspect we're going to end up in a massive fight with these guys. But that will all have to wait for next week. Thank you for watching, and I will see you then.